Hi, AD, never mind, they didn't ask. Hi, it's Trixie Mattel, and this is my YouTube channel, and this is my beautiful home. If you've really been MIA, last year, David and I did a television program where we renovated a retro motel in Palm Springs and turned out the most incredible motel experience. And this season, my partner David and I bought a home in Hollywood, and we are putting this sucker in drag. This is our cute little sitting area. There's previously nothing out here, and obviously some little plants, little bench, little pillows. I can do things like talk to my mom on the phone. I can wait for my food from Uber Eats. This home had a lot of rain damage because of some of the uncharacteristic rains in Los Angeles. So all the way up here, the reason we have brand new little chandeliers up here is because we had to rip up the tile up there, dig it all up. If you watch the show, you know, we had to like reseal it, re-waterproof it. It took forever and so much extra money. But now we have this nice, safe, well-lit area to sit and hang out. In addition to this little sitting area, we have this little sitting area. So nice. The first day the renovation was done, I came out here and I got donuts and tea, and I sat out here and read a book, and I was like, oh yeah. I was like, this is what I needed in my life. This tiny little like cafe table, the babbling brook over there. Well, it's a fountain. This is such a fun way to use extra space. Something I think is the bonus of living in California is like anywhere outside your house can be like an extra living room. And this for breakfast in the morning is amazing. Well, I've told you enough about the front of my house. I say we go inside the house, shall we? Come on. So after we finished Trixie Motel, we wrapped season 1 and we opened the business. Now for the first whole year of the business, David Silver basically lived in Palm Springs, workshopping the guest experience, working on the menu. I mean, everything in the first year of a business is like constant touch and go, constant babysitting, constant tweaking and make sure everything is perfect. While David was in Palm Springs, I was on tour buses and planes and trains and automobiles all over the world doing Trixie and Katya Live, the biggest drag tour ever mounted. Touring was very grueling, but luckily I saved my little shiny pennies, and that was how I was able to afford this beautiful home. So if you came to see Trixie and Katya Live, thank you, you bought this house. Okay, so right when you walk in, you have our dining room and our living room, and I think we should look at the living room first. There's a lot to take in. This room, I think, started as an ambitious idea with a lot of color and print, and it ended up being a very ambitious room with a lot of color and print. What I love about this room is I love pink, but David kind of had the idea of making it more green centered so that it feels more grounded and like a calm living room, but the pink still really pops on green. So we knew we wanted this pink couch from Joybird. It is huge. It is like entire groups of people can sprawl out on it. It's so comfortable. Something else I love about this room is it's a nice mix of some really high-end custom cool stuff and some really thrifty stuff. This console, it's a very expensive console. Very expensive. They gave us an incredible deal, but it's a giant, super heavy custom ceramic console that's mounted to the wall that floats. It was like 300 pounds. It took like 4 people to lift it and mount it on the wall. And every day when I come down here, I believe that that is gonna knock the house down because it's so heavy, but right above it, we have this great television. Samsung makes this TV called The Frame, which is an 85-inch giant television, and we really wanted to get it for free. So we wrote Samsung, we're like, hey, can we have a free TV? And they said no, so I had to buy it. It was $4,500. $4,500. $4,500. But it has a gold frame, and during the day, it looks like art. I think TVs in the living room are trashy. This is a good like balance because if David doesn't have a living room TV, he'll never come in here. But for me, I love when we're not watching the TV that it just looks like art. It's very pretty. There is a lot of custom stuff in this room. For example, these pillows, David and Dan Vickery went shopping for this fabric and they made these pillows custom for the room, which are very cool. Zebras. And then behind me, these used to be completely normal windows. This window and that window. Issue is we live in Los Angeles. We have very close neighbors, and unless we kept the blinds closed, I would see neighbors. And I don't wear clothes. I'm often in here being embarrassing. So like, this is a great, sneaky, but very classy way for us to get a little more privacy, but still have a lot of light coming through. These are by Mojo Glassworks in Virginia. If you watch season 1 of Trixie Motel, they did all the stained glass in the rooms. They drove these all the way from the East Coast to make sure that they would not break, hand installed them. It was a real nail biter because 100-year-old homes like this, not everything is exactly square. So if they make a perfectly square window, and then they come in here and the house has shifted over the decades, it's not gonna fit. So when they were mounting it in the windows, we were like, So luckily it fits. This home was built in 1922. It also previously was inhabited by pop songwriter Justin Tranter. He writes music for Selena Gomez, Troye Sivan, I mean, Britney, every pop person. He is the original singer for Semi-Precious Weapons. It's just nice to know that before I came in here, somebody was gaying it. Somebody was queering the space. And then when I came in, I was like, it's gay in here. You can tell a gay person owned this home because there was dimmers. You know what I mean? If we're being honest, straight people love overhead lighting with one setting, and gay people, we're insecure, okay? We need strategic lighting. David had the idea for peacocks because peacocks used to be kind of like an underground symbol for like gay stuff, and male peacocks are the ones that are all beautiful. So you have two male peacocks in this room kind of flirting. Something else I love about the peacocks is peacocks in literature often represent transformation, and this entire home was purchased on the power of transformation. So it's just fun. You'll notice that window, it has like a Trixie eye, and this window has like kind of little glasses. I mean, I don't know many people who have custom stained glass of peacocks that look like them in their house, but I'm definitely gay enough to have that. Thank you to Andrew and Nicole from Mojo Glassworks, not only for making these perfect, but driving them here and installing them. I mean, they are amazing. So under the TV, we have all types of books. David has really curated our books. We have books on toys. We have like old films of Elizabeth Taylor. We have Tom of Finland. If you weren't sure that gay people live here, you could look at these books and be like, I think someone gay lives here. These are books not that we sit and read earnestly. These are books that we want people to know that we have. Most of them are from Tashin. We bought them all with our own money. We got this beautiful acrylic chess set here from Palm Springs, and the chess pieces are like these cute little acrylic pink and green, and we knew we were doing this to the living room, so when we saw these at Trina Turk in Palm Springs, we were like, we're getting this. So we love that. Hi, Trina Turk, love you, love them. Behind the couch, we have all kinds of items. We have some dogwood stuff. We have all kinds of vases and vases. We have a little Barbie. People think it's my #1. That's a reproduction from 1995, but sure. The real deal is locked away somewhere, a lot safer than right next to the front door. Hello. This mirror is really cool. This is from Soho Home. This was about $5 billion. I don't remember the real price, but I remember being scandalized. It also is 1,000 pounds. The fact that it has not torn the wall off, like, I don't know. It's a really cool mirror though. I really love it. I wasn't initially fond of it because I thought the squiggles were too trendy, but now I like it. So I have learned in this process to trust the process. There was so many times where I was flipping out, and then by the next day, whatever I was flipping out about, I was like, oh, that looks kind of good. So sometimes it's very humbling because you're having a heart attack and the next day you're like, oh, that does look good. But then sometimes you don't think something's gonna look good and you say something, and then because you said something, it looks great. So it goes both ways, Brenda. Sometimes it is worth speaking up. And then this whole giant rug in the living room, this is a custom rug from Tuft the World. If you guys watched Trixie Motel season 1, we had a tufting artist named Tim, and he worked on a mirror with Nicole Byer and I. This season, off camera, he built this entire area rug, like custom. So if you imagine him with a gun, like doing every single loop in this, it probably drove him insane. He probably went out of his mind, but Tim, if you're watching this, we love it, and it's so beautiful, and it's perfect. And the wallpaper that really creates this room, I mean, it really sets the scene for this room. This wallpaper is from Thibaut. My initial thought was pink, and I'm so happy we did green because it weirdly makes the pink in this room work better. In season 1, we had a designer who was amazing, but for this season, we wanted something a little more domestic. So this season, our designer, Dan Vickery, I mean, David and Dan Vickery and I really just like tossed the ball around. He had kind of a grounded approach on how to make something beautiful, and our approach is how to make something insane. So I think we always were trying to meet in the middle. Like, what's the most glamorous we can make it without being completely batshit? So it was like a good push and pull at all times of like, I want crazy, but don't you want good looking? Yes, but I also want crazy. It was like, and this is the dining room. This is probably my favorite room in the house, but it's also the room that gave me a heart attack on several occasions. Let me explain. When this table came, this beautiful table, this was supposed to be like a deep jade. When it came and it was this like aqua, my heart stopped. I mean, it was the day of the dinner party and the wrong color table. It was a custom painted table. When you request a custom painted item, it should be the color you wanted. So it was really disorienting. But this room has so much cool stuff. It has the gold wallpaper ceiling, which is amazing. It has this vintage pink Murano glass sculptural light fixture here that I love. This room has plates, saucers, chargers, all from Le Double J. I think it's like a fashion brand, but they also make really cool plates. I asked them for free ones and they said this wouldn't be a good brand match. Sounds coded to me. And then over there on the mantle, we have some great Jonathan Adler pieces. We have this weird little baby doll head. I don't remember where I got that, but I'm very happy David let me keep it in the house because it is weird. Something unique to this house is it has a Batchelder fireplace. Batchelder was a very famous tile maker and like an American craftsman, and if you watch the show, you know. We smashed it because we thought we were gonna change it and then we felt bad, so we fixed it. Luckily, you would never know unless you watched a television show where we told everyone we smashed it, so great. This house kind of has like style dysphoria. Like, it's technically a craftsman, but the front yard is kind of like a French provincial situation, but we've done it kind of Hollywood Regency. So it really is all styles kind of meshing together, which is ambitious, but I think we pulled it off. It kind of made the design process interesting because each room had things we wanted to keep. The molding, or the beautiful wood in the doorways, or the fireplace, or each room had something that we were like, this is old and cool enough, let's not change it. These are from Williams-Sonoma, not to be gay. This egg napkin holder, love. I was at Williams-Sonoma and somebody David and I played gay kickball with worked there. His name was Matthew. Hi, Matthew. And I was like, girl, if you don't go find me 8 of these back there, it's on site, bitch. And he came back with 8 of these and I was so happy because I love these. I love birds, as you guys know. So this house has birds everywhere. Birds in the wallpapers, birds on the counters, because David doesn't like birds. So I'm only allowed to have birds as like decor. This vintage quail, so cool. It's this like magenta berry with this teal. We didn't even know the room was gonna be this, and it fits perfect. I got this down the street at an antique store. And then I have these great salt and pepper shakers. David's mom got me these for Christmas a few years ago, and they look like little birds, and I'm obsessed with them. And I'm so happy they work in the dining room because I think they're so cute. The joy in my heart from this is so disproportionate to what a salt shaker should bring a person. Behind me, I have this portrait. This is by my friend Kim at Carlos Bob on Instagram. She actually did the portrait of me at the motel. She's a very famous portrait artist in Australia. And she painted this giant painting of David and I. We sent her the colors to the living room. We were basically like, can you make this so it matches our dining room and our living room? So you can see she definitely painted us, but she incorporated in like the rose and the aqua and the teal. And that's why it really marries this whole room. This portrait was painted for us for this room, which is why it's amazing. It's really amazing. I mean, people might not know this, but David and I are the executive producers and creators of the show of Trixie Motel. So in addition to the concept of the business and getting that going, we create the story of the show, the idea of the show. We welcome the cameras and storytelling into our real lives. And we basically cherry pick the most interesting and crazy parts of it to help make the show. So it's very personal. Season 1 was intense because it's a business and all the world's eyes were on us. This season was intense because it's our real home. If we make mistakes, we have to live with them, literally. And we have the whole world watching and telling us what they do and don't like about our home. So, you know, the stakes felt definitely higher this time. Now, we don't have butlers in this house, but at some point somebody did because we have a butler's pantry. So let's go to the butler's pantry. Oh, I actually have to show you one thing. Look at this bitch. This is from Dogwood. These are pink cheetahs. They are so amazing. We have 2 of them, one on each side of the fireplace. Apparently these were on the show Ted Lasso. So we were trying to get these and they were in and out of stock and on pre-order. And luckily we reached out to Dogwood and they made these available to us in a very short period of time. So thank you, Dogwood. Thank you, Dogwood. Should we go to the butler's pantry? So now we're in the butler's pantry. Again, we don't have a butler. I don't know what you would call it. Some people probably use this as a sunroom. You could make it into a little library. We chose to do kind of like a observatory, plant room, little writing desk. Honestly, my first thought was all this natural light, what a good place to do Zoom meetings. Because these French doors do close, so you have a little bit of privacy, but there's a lot of cool stuff in here. So if you watch the show, you know, we painted these cages gold, pink. Again, I love birds, but we don't have birds. This sort of bird cage motif is kind of throughout the house. I love this little animal mask here from Dogwood. So cool. We got it, and I think Dogwood gifted it to us, and I was like, where are we gonna put this? And I love it right here. I love this candle. This is from Boy Smells. This is called Snap. There's a set of 3. It's called Snap, Herbaceous, and Rinder. Not grinder. All these candles are super plant smelling. So for this room, when you walk in and there's all these plants, some of them are fake. You get this like plant smell on your face and it just makes the whole room feel so fresh. We also have these tiny little ashtrays, which are for like individual, you know, I don't know if you can say marijuana on YouTube. I'm in California, so whatever. People doing drugs, that's for this. We also have something really cool in here. This is one of Orville Peck's real masks. I think we're one of 2 people to actually own an Orville Peck mask. I think it's the Tom of Finland Foundation and us. So this is like one of my, probably Dave and I's prized possessions, because like this is a real Orville Peck mask, and we all know he's gonna die young. So the value of this is really gonna shoot up. I mean, look at this thing. It's so cool. I know what you're thinking. Do David and I take it in the bedroom? No. We also have some other little stuff hiding here. I got this from David's family a few years ago, these pink little parrots. I'm a very easy gift receiver. If you just get something bird related, I love it. It's a weird thing because one minute you're a young, cool, fresh, like hot drag queen, and then 5 minutes of your gay life go by and suddenly you're a weird old gay guy. And for me, it happened in a flash. And now here we are. So, but what I like about this room is it basically ends up giving the dining room some dimension. So at night when we're having dinner, having guests over, we can have plants and candles in here and it just gives some more depth to the dining room experience. But we can't have a dining room without a kitchen. So let's go look at where we make food. Welcome to the kitchen. So this kitchen, when we started it, it was like, we love pink, I love pink, David loves pink, and it was like, we don't want to do all pink. Cut to 5 seconds later, everything is pink. I think it was like a slippery slope. Once one thing was pink, it was like, well, let's do a little more, and then here we are. We're in like, you know, a kitchen made by the people who make pink like school erasers. That's kind of this kitchen. This countertop I'm sitting on, which I probably shouldn't be sitting on, is rose quartz. We had to get 3 slabs of it, and they retail at about $20,000 a slab. So these were very expensive, very fancy. I think there's this weird thought that people think that when you do a TV show, they pay for everything. People think that like a television network bought me a motel. I f***ing wish, bitch. No, none of that happened. It's our own money, it's our own risk, it's our own ideas not working out sometimes. It's our own stress. I mean, I will say, in many ways, renovation television is the realest because you definitely lose the most sleep. For this show, I can tell you, in Reno, they say that everything takes twice as long and costs twice as much. That definitely happened. We went to Stoneland here in Los Angeles on the show, and our friend Golly gave us a tour, and when we saw these in person, real stones like this, the way they pick up light and have uniqueness, and it's amazing. Everyone who enters this kitchen, the first thing they do is touch it. They like have to touch it. It's so cool. The floor is all handmade tiles, so even though it's a very uniform design, the way it ended up looking super custom is we have this super uniform strict design, but it's handmade tiles, so they're all a little different. So that's what gives it that very hand-laid custom look. The tile workers in here were on their hands and knees making it perfect. It was incredible to watch. People who do tile are truly artists. Anybody in your life who does tile, they're very cool people, let me tell you. We added frosting to the windows in here because I'm gonna be honest with you guys. In renovation television, sometimes you don't get everything, okay? It's like the final day of the kitchen and we forgot to paint the shelves. So in a last minute dash, we had to frost this, and then Dave and I were like, I kinda like it frosted, because to be honest, now there's not the pressure of keeping it all perfect in there, so who cares? My condo before I lived there was renovated, but it was renovated before I moved in. So I lived in my apartment just complaining about how long the reno was taking, which is different than living in the middle of the reno. I mean, we lived in the guest house, which was such a blessing to have a guest house. But you know, every day we'd walk in, there would be people here sawing and hammering and stripping paint at like 7 in the morning. So every day it was like living in a renovation. We replaced the sink. It used to be a 2-basin sink, and now it's this giant farmhouse sink with hot and cold running water. It has one of those, this things. It's a very cool sink. It has a push button disposal. Love these crystal poles. I mean, it's funny that 2 men live here because we're not exactly fragile about everyone thinking we're mask for mask. This kitchen is insane. I mean, it is the pinkest, girliest experience. Some of my Smeg appliances from my last pink kitchen, we've flown in. We have that standing mixer that David got me for Christmas like in 2020. I got that as a COVID gift when everybody was baking. So the appliances in this room were all big chill. The fridge, the dishwasher, and the stove, an oven. And instead of getting new appliances, we actually enameled them pink. So these are the exact same appliances. So I'm so happy we could keep them because they were in amazing condition. They just used to be like a yellow and they would have looked so odd in this pink kitchen. So I'm so happy we just got to paint them. I have to show you guys this. All of our pots and pans now are from Caraway Home. They make the coolest pink options. So cool. And it's nice because I can leave something like this sitting out on the counter, and instead of looking like clutter, it just like goes with the whole vibe of the kitchen. One of my other favorite things about the kitchen is that it's connected to the music room / the bar. So let's go in there, shall we? This is the bar. Now it is a bar, but it's also my little music room. So for this room, it was important to me that if I was home, I could use it to play guitar, play my harp, write music. I can put my DJ equipment right up here on the bar and with my computer and work on DJ sets for touring. But if I'm not here, or if we're not using it for a music room, this room is a very convincing little lounge to have your friends over and drink. So this room looks like a bar, but it also functions like a little workspace, which is exactly what I wanted. We got these little bongos here. These are so cool. This is a fun story. My drummer, Price, we were on tour and I did not know that price is colorblind. That's how this story starts. I remember we were at the store and we had a radio gig or something where we had to get little instruments to play on the radio, I think. And I was like, why don't you go grab some bongos? And he's standing there and he's like, which one should I get? And I go, I really like those green ones, get the green ones. I go to the cash wrap, I'm waiting, I'm like, where is he? I go over to get him and he's like, which ones are the green ones? And that's how I found out. So, you know, these are green, price, now you know. If you guys watched the show, you know Brittany Broski and I we tried to make dishes for the house. Not great. Pottery is way harder than it looks. We do have some of my instruments in here. This is my Gretsch White Falcon. I love this guitar. Orville Peck also plays this guitar, and he and I always laugh because this guitar is so heavy. If you played that guitar for 90 minutes on stage, you are leaving the stage on a stretcher. It is so heavy. But in Gretsch's defense, they also make a version of the White Falcon that's a little smaller. So you don't have to get the big one, but I was trying to make my hands look small. So this is my Gibson Doves in Flight. So cool. This guitar I bought after my first record. My first record cost me $20,000. I wrote all the music, sang it, played on it. I even like made the costumes on the cover with like hot glue. But when the album made its money back, this was my gift to myself, was these like this guitar. And I didn't play it for years because it's too fancy. But then one day I was like, what's the point of owning it if you're not going to use it? So now I play it all the time. It's so nice. My auto harp sits in here. You'll notice this room doesn't have a lot of art on the walls, nor does it have mirrors. When you're filming a TV show, mirrors reflect cameras, which is why you guys are this way and not right here right now, or you would see yourself in the mirror. And when you have art on TV, you have to get the artist to clear it. So like the portrait in the dining room, we know the artist. We told her it was for TV. A lot of our art that we have, David's been collecting like retro vintage portraits. We don't know the artists and we don't know how to find them. So as this room matures, I think we will probably, you know, coat the walls in really cool, weird art. I think doing a lot of portraits could give it like a heritage speakeasy vibe because we have all these fabulous bottles. I mean, this is so nice to have. It makes you feel so fancy. You know, when you're in college and you're taking a shot and then like a Gatorade and just swishing it in your mouth, that's not exactly mixology. Entering the adult stage of your life and having to pull like nice vodka, pour it in a nice tumbler, it's really nice. These little doors up there, I don't know if you saw it on the show, but those little doors reveal little portraits because we don't have a lot of family portraits. And I think we're both uncomfortable with photos of ourselves. I'll show you. Like this one. This is a photo of David and I at Berlin. If anybody's been to Berlin and Chicago, the gay bar, they have a photo booth. This is a picture from a photo booth. So it's pictures of us in the home without being too live, laugh, love. When I'm working on like Solid Peak Disco or something, I have my smaller controller I can just put up here and work because my big CDJs are at my drag studio, but this small controller is great for prepping tracks, remixing, working with stuff I might pull out. And then I also have to show you, I love these tumblers from Jonathan Adler. So cool, right? Extremely overpriced. Jonathan, you know that's the T-bitch, but those are really nice glasses. So now that we've finished the music room, we have our double doors here that lead out to the backyard. Let's go. Welcome to the backyard. So now we're in the backyard, which is like a full-blown disco party back here. I mean, compared to the rest of the reno, the backyard here was beautiful. Part of why I wanted the house was because this backyard is beautiful. I mean, we're in Hollywood, California, which is like a very metropolis city area of LA. And you would never know back here. I mean, it's like a little oasis. At 7 in the morning, the entire backyard is bathed in this like Studio 54 situation. It's so cool. We could not find a disco ball big enough or pink enough, so we built that disco ball from scratch using a yoga ball, epoxy, and tiny mirrors. I think it was worth it. And we put it on a rotator, so if you ever hang a disco ball in your house, unless you make it spin, it looks terrible. The spinning is what makes it look good. You can get a cheap disco ball, but you have to make it spin. We also have this huge mural by James Mobley, which is so cool. It just takes the jungle of the backyard and wraps it into the house. I love it. New furniture. We have this disco ball bar globe that I'm really obsessed with. But yeah, we didn't have to redo the pool. We didn't have to redo much like landscaping. It just turned out so pretty. And what this backyard really needed was its own bar. So let's go look. Oh, this is the silver bar. Well, thank you for asking. Yeah, we call it the silver bar because David loves a cocktail and David loves gold and he loves animal print. So we have a lot of this gold detailing going on back here. And then there's this animal print tile bar. David built this bar with the designer Dan Vickery. They built it from scratch. And I'm just thinking of summer and the way we're gonna spend time here. And I know David and his friends will be having a glass of wine over here. So the silver bar, I mean, when we opened the Trixie Motel, I always had a dream that if we open another location, we would have a speakeasy, like a very small room in the back that would be called the silver bar, where everything floor to ceiling would be gold. I don't know, I think that's funny to me because David Silver loves gold. So silver bar, gold. comedy, you know, branding, it matters. This, when we bought the home, was really like a area of opportunity. Like it has a rigged heater back here. So I know someone at some point spent time back here, but it was just plain cedar, and I was like, we can do sexier than that. We can do better than that. So the lighting, the mirrors, this whole area now is like, it's like its own little thing. So now that you've seen the first level of the home and the exterior here in the back, I think we should go upstairs, shall we? Drag queens love stairs. The stairs. Now in the home, the stairwell, where the stairs are, the stair area, the staria as we call it, is a very overlooked area to make some design choices. But for us, in this beautiful old spooky home, I was like, let's do something really cool. I think originally David had the idea for like a sky, and then we were like, maybe a pink sky. Once we got this wallpaper, this was a hard installation because this is wallpaper on 2 levels. So most wallpaper is made for, you know, floor to ceiling, 1 room. This wallpaper design had to be doubled in height and scale and then installed vertically so that everything lines up perfectly. It was a very slow process. I remember watching them on a scaffolding, like boards from here to here, up crawling on the ceiling. Like it was a whole deal. Because we also have gold wallpaper on the ceiling in here. So it's giant wallpapers, wallpaper on the ceiling, and these beautiful like gemstone light fixtures. Now, when we picked these out, it was between this or something kind of big and cloudy. This ended up being a surprise hit because if you guys can see, these lights shatter onto the walls. So especially at night, when you're walking through here and the lights are all low because everything's on dimmers, you have the clouds and this very light, like rainbow shatter effect on the walls. It is so beautiful in here. This ended up being like the sleeper hit of the renovation. Like every time people climb the stairs, you're going toward our bedroom, our closet, our guest bedroom, and it feels like you're kind of going up to a calmer, more heavenly area of the house. Now, I don't want to trigger any LGBTQIA people, but let's go back in the closet. Welcome to my closet. This is technically the primary bedroom, which is really interesting because it is the smallest room in the house. We didn't want to do anything where we turned it to a closet, but completely ruined the room because the resale value on a house is higher if you have more bedrooms. So basically in this room, all we did was add furniture. I mean, you know, we have mirrors on the walls, you know, they swing out like a tailor's mirror so you can see all the way around yourself. Mirrors, tailor's version. These great like installed pieces from Scott Home, these are great because they just add like closet space without screwing into the wall, anything like that. They're basically units you could carry out here at some point. David found this desk. I don't know where he found it, but I love this desk. I sit in here and do Zoom meetings. I sit in here, put makeup on. Lots of stuff in here. This is David's Alfred Hitchcock candle. I don't know why we've never burned it. I guess this is one of those decorative candles that you don't ever burn, which I don't know. It's like having decorative food you don't eat. I don't really understand that, but whatever. Perfumes. David and I sort of have a exchange student program with our colognes. Like David used to wear Acqua di Gio, and then I started wearing it. And then I used to wear 8 and Bob, and now David wears it. So we end up buying colognes and then we steal each other's. It's a really weird thing. Maybe it's a gay thing. We end up stealing each other's colognes and then we smell like each other's colognes instead of ourselves. I don't know. This slab of rose quartz is actually the same rose quartz from the countertops downstairs because when you have slabs that big and that expensive, we had one slab turned into a cheese board and then one slab was turned into a little like platform here. We used the whole animal, that's for sure. I'm gonna be honest with you, this poof, this carpet in the middle, very affordable. I just wanted somewhere in here to sit to put on shoes. Little candy dishes that are from, some of those are from like Fairfax Market, little like vintage markets. Love that citron cockatoo right there. That is from Dogwood. Love that bird. That photo over there is the first day of renovating the motel. Dave and I took that picture, so it's a very cool picture. The director of photography for Trixie Motel is also a photographer, and he took that picture on real film, so it's great to have it framed. It's like very blast from the past. I remember that day, how scared I was to start renovating, and look at me now. No, look at me. And that's pretty much this room. I mean, we loved this wallpaper, so we didn't want to change much in here. I love the hardwood floor and I love the wallpaper. We swapped out the fixtures and added furniture, but basically we didn't really believe in renovating for the sake of it. This room, we liked the wallpaper, so we just added to it. I hope the show inspires many of you because my gosh, everything I've learned about renovation, I think back to my worst apartments where I had the smallest budget in the worst apartment and I felt so like I couldn't do anything about it. Why in my 20s was I not swapping out light fixtures, painting walls, thrifting, and like, I had so much more control. Like if I had known what I know now, I would have had cooler apartments when I was younger. There's so many things I've learned in like home decor stuff and renovating that is doable by you and not $1 billion. Now, before I brush my teeth and get dressed in the morning, I'm in the bedroom. So let's go check out the bedroom. Ladies and gentlemen, This is where all the magic happens. Not sex, no, we actually do close-up magic in here. I'm getting really good at pulling a nickel out of people's ears. No, this is our bedroom. So this room compared to the rest of the house, if you think our vibe, I mean, this is an old Craftsman and we were reaching for like sexy, gay Hollywood Regency, fun textures and colors and prints and animal prints. This room ended up being a little more purposely spa. This room, when the house came to us, had like a sage color to it, and we shifted it a little more mint, a little more very light blue-green, compared to a very yellowy sage, which is what it was. We love this bed. This bed is from Soho Home. It was, I'm not kidding, $5 million. I couldn't believe how much the bed was. It's just how much things cost are so crazy to me sometimes. I just like can't believe it. But we really wanted this bed. So, and my old friend Becca, she was a mattress saleswoman, and she used to tell people, you know, you spend a third of your life in bed. And she's right. So like get the bed you want. This actually is not a dresser. These are 3 side tables stuck together. Get creative, people, okay? Get creative. One of the main things we achieved in this room, this pillow is custom. Love this fabric. Love this fabric. And we built out the wall. This used to be the wall, right? It was green, or it was wallpaper, and it was all this deep. The wall was built out so that the bed looks more recessed for that kind of like hotel feel where the walls kind of hug you. And then we did upholstery on this wall. Love this feather light fixture. Absolutely love it. Love it, love it, love it. I love this little thing here. This is like just a little boucle bench. I always wanted to put this by the window because in the mornings, we get a lot of sunlight coming this way. So I love being able to sit here, stare out the window, think about my life. Frame TV, which is great because during the day it looks like a painting. And then at night we get to watch TV in bed. That weird lion, I think that's thrifted or vintage. And one of my favorite things we did in this bedroom is we really made it an indoor-outdoor experience because we really pimped out this patio. Come on. And this, finally, is our little daybed patio situation. So, I mean, the main bedroom's right here, and then this patio, I've never had a bedroom with a patio. I was like, well, let's figure out something to do out here. So we had to tear up all this tile, we had to re-waterproof it, fix all the water damage, and then since we tore up the tile, we did this new black and white graphic tile, which I love. And then we wanted to do a daybed, but this is Los Angeles, there's an apartment building next door, and it's a straight guy who lives there with 0 window treatments. So he's always looking over here. So the designer, Dan Vickery, had the idea to do kind of a canopy. He built the canopy in the same color as the trim of the house and built it high enough to go over the window. So when you're in the house, you don't get any blocked coverage. So cool. And every morning when I wake up, I come out here and play on my phone, and like Dave and I order coffee and sit out here and like greet the day. It's like quiet in Los Angeles in the morning. The sun is kind of coming in over the east. It's so nice. And that's basically my house. I have never owned a freestanding house. I really love it. It's a lot of challenges, like, you know, everything's always breaking and it's my problem now. No landlord comes to rescue me. Shout out to the designer, Dan Vickery, who did a fabulous job with the home. Shout out to Build Method, our constructors and construction crew who helped us do all this. And of course, shout out to Scott Brothers Entertainment, who worked with me on the TV show. You guys, the Property Brothers, when I pitched them Trixie Motel, there was no ifs, ands, or buts. They were instantly like, it's amazing, we want it. And for drag queens pitching to straight men, that doesn't always happen. Thank you to them for believing, and everybody at SBE for helping us do the show. I love the house. I love showing it to y'all, and please don't kill me. Bye. All of season 2 is streaming now on Max. And I just want to say, I love everyone. I love every Reno TV show. Everyone's drag is valid. They're not renovating houses like this on television. Okay, this is the coolest renovation on television. Just like season 1 was the coolest renovation on television. So you're all fucking welcome. If you love the home, please let me know in the comments. If you don't live here. If you have an idea for season 3, not that there might be one, but what would you want to see? If you'd like to see a motel, what city should we do it in? If you'd like to see us open a bar or restaurant, what kind of food should we make? Seriously, let me know, because Trixie Motel 5-6 years ago when Dave and I first started dating was like a joke between us. And now it's a joke that we took way too far. So if you guys have any good ideas, please list them below and I will steal them and not credit you. Thank you so much. Goodbye.